Ooh, want to tell a scary story?
Ooh, yeah. Let's pretend we're part of the Midnight Society, but with booze. But I get to sprinkle the dust over the fire pit. Hey guys, it's Alex and Emily again, coming at you in a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, and we're going to be talking about Madman from 1982. Emily, as always, has the original and priceless VHS copy. So Emily, let's pretend we're at the campfire, and now, submitted for the approval of the Gag Me with a Knife podcast, this is the tale of Madman Mars.
On the last night of summer camp, the story is told of Madman Mars, a berserk local farmer who butchered his entire family before disappearing into the woods forever. You must not say his name above a whisper, the legend says, because if he hears you, he will come for you. But when a cocky young teen ridicules the tale and calls the madman's name out loud, the maniacal evil is unleashed. Summer may be over, but the ferocious bloodshed has just begun. A longtime favorite of hardcore horror fans, Madman stood out from the pack of the 80s body count films by delivering scary suspense, gruesome effects, and sheer nastiness, including its infamous head under the car hood scene. So I guess it's not an original VHS, so. Yeah, it's a later edition, but it's still like, yeah, it's a later edition. Anyway, your thoughts?
Well, this is definitely just kind of your average slasher movie to me about an axe-wielding maniac in the woods. I mean, there's musical crescendos where you expect them to be, people die as you expect them, and you know from the very beginning who the killer is, as it's all explained in the campfire tale. So there's not really much to this that hasn't been done, but I think fans of slashers in general, like, you have to be well, you don't have to be a slasher fan to appreciate it, but I think it helps. The killer looks a little creepy sometimes, like from the knees down.
Yeah, I don't understand that whole thing because he was just a farmer that went crazy, and now he's like some deformed person.
Now he's an ogre in a rubber mask with a boisterous wig. I couldn't get past. But his
I really couldn't either. I couldn't get past that. I was just like, since when did just because like you killed your whole family and ran off into the woods, like you become deformed?
You look like a werewolf in overalls or something. Yeah, it was so. But from the knees down, his baggy jeans and his boots kind of did scare me. But
Manos Hands of Fate.
Yeah, I mean, I do tend to rewatch the silly, fun slashers more, but once or twice a year, so I will put this one on for some fun, woodsy horror vibes with a little more serious tone. But I do bet this would have been a completely different movie had it been released in the late 80s as like more of a satire and fun versus the early 80s where everyone was basically trying to make the next best serious hit. So
yeah, I really think it would have because you said 82, but there's a lot of different dates. Like it was actually in film limbo in 81. The first time it came out like in theaters was 82, and then again in 83 became a sleeper hit. So it does have that early 80s vibe, which I'm not a big fan of. And Dawn of the Dead is my favorite movie, but Galen Ross she doesn't fix it for me.
She is the best actress in this movie, though.
And it is a strong female movie. It really is.
But we have a final boy, which is fun. But there's a lot of good women empowerment in this as well. Tons.
Some of it's like very overt, and like over the is the one Stacy, her character is very much like, this is the time and this is the things that feminists say, so we're going to put that like she's that character and we're going to have her say like all the typical stereotypical things or whatever.
Right, and Stacy did remind me of I forget her name, but the best friend, not PJ Souls, but the other friend of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah, she does remind me. I can't remember her name in the movie. You know, I don't like Halloween that much, but
I
no,
know.
she does. She totally gives off those vibes.
And she kind of looks like her too.
The
But
one that's like,
yeah.
can't find my keys or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's she's the one always on the phone, but she's babysitting she's babysitting the girl that's that housewife.
Paul's her boyfriend, I think. And she's the cop's daughter in the movie. Anyway.
Yeah, oh, and Annie.
Yeah,
God,
she's like very
Anyway.
Annie. Yeah, she's basically like the same character almost, except for like putting in a little more like female empowerment quotes, I guess, into it.
Yeah, and this I got confused.
Be more in your face about it, I guess.
Because and the characters' names were Betsy, TP, Stacy, Ellie, Richie, Dippy.
Ellie
Tommy,
is the worst
Jimmy,
person
Shirley,
I've ever.
Jeannie.
Oh.
We'll talk about Ellie later.
Oh yeah, I can't. I mean, I almost had to just turn her off. I mean, like she needs to get out of there. So I will say, and I do remember when I watched it when I was younger. I felt the same thing. That's when I was rewatching it for this. And the beginning is really cool. I like the little synth stabs when the title comes in, and then like the red and black intro colors.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was super cool. And the story that Max is, I guess, like he's sitting around the campfire with. Okay, when I was younger, I thought it was just counselors and it was basically like Friday the 13th. But apparently, it's counselors and kids.
There's 4 campers and 8 counselors. I mean, what's happening?
I mean, yeah, where is everybody? Okay, you need 8 adults for like what kind of camp is this? Is this Friday the 13th part 5? I mean, like.
Yeah, and then the opening too. Like there's parts of me that I like the opening music, but then when he starts like singing, I'm like, what is this hokey horse crap? Like,
I don't like the singing, but I really, and it's always stuck with me, the intro story and the reenactment, like the flashback.
The flashback. The flashback
of Madman Mars. It's super creepy. It is. It's actually my favorite part of the movie.
Me too.
And in fact, the movie goes pretty much downhill from that scene for me.
Yeah, and we have, Mr. Feeney basically over here telling this.
Oh my God, he does look like him.
Telling this story. And I'm like, this is a terrifying story for these like 7-year-old kids. Also. And
also, like they say you can't say his name above a whisper, but when they have him say his name, he says it above a whisper. I'm just saying.
Well, the first time he says it, you hear this girl in the background. What's he say? I can't hear him.
Well, he goes, Madman Mars. And that's not a whisper.
And
because I will tell you, I substitute teach, and I have to ask kids if they know how to whisper, and then I make them show me how to whisper. And I say, if I can hear the tone of your voice, you're not whispering.
Yeah, I mean,
so he wasn't whispering
at all. And at the end of the day, too, like, what is this, Candyman Voorhees? What's going on?
And then, so we have Richie, which I admittedly thought was actually an adult through half the movie and did not realize he was a camper. So that was confusing because I was just like, why do they care so much? I don't know. So Richie is this kid that's like, hey, Madman Mars. I mean, and on top of that, he's just annoying. So, of course, it's going to wake him up. So, Madman Mars wakes up. And then, I guess they're leaving the campfire, and Richie is apparently a really good shot because he throws that. What is it, like a rock or something? He throws it straight through that window. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he goes chasing. Yeah. He's going to he's going to investigate. He leaves the group, and he's going to investigate.
I know, what is that?
I mean, why?
Ugh.
He's so full of himself. Whatever. And so I guess it makes sense that I was confused as to why, because when they realized the camper's missing, they're like, we have to find him. It's a kid. But I thought it was a counselor. So I was like, I mean, why don't they just wait a little bit and see if he comes back?
Yeah.
It made more sense later on when I realized it was a kid. So.
And so when he is it before or right during when he explores the house that all of a sudden it just deadpans to the silhouette up in the trees and you see Mad Max?
Yeah.
Or Madman.
No, I think he sees him in the tree before he goes.
I thought so too. Yeah, and like his hair's kind of like blowing in the wind, and it's like
Yeah, it's very silly.
I thought it was kind of creepy.
Well, I mean, it looked like he had just had a Halloween wig on. I mean,
well, and I got Harold from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. You know
oh
that
my
little.
God, Harold! No, don't even with me. Harold's the scariest story of all time.
But
Like, what
the
kind
way
of
he
story
looked.
ends for a kid with a fucking scarecrow laying out skin to dry in the sun, and then it's that story's over.
It's some wicked shit. Yeah.
It is the scariest story, like the scariest story to tell in the dark. And by
So
Harold.
maybe his name is Candyman Harold Voorhees.
Mars. Mars.
Instead of Jesus H. Christ, it's Candyman H. Voorhees. H is for Harold.
Okay, Alex and I got in trouble in chemistry one day because all day we went around changing Jesus's middle name to like things that started with an H. So that's the background of that one. Our chemistry by fourth block, which we only had 4 blocks, we've been doing it all day, and our teacher was like, "Can you just stop, please?" So we're like, Jesus Harold Christ, Jesus Heather Christ, Jesus, like any name.
Yeah, anything.
So okay, I'm gonna talk about Russell Todd again. I don't know how I find it every time.
You do.
But there's a character named TP that is dating
Betsy.
I wanted to say Francine because she's Francine.
That's Francine, yeah. Galen Ross.
Galen Ross, yeah. And they're like trying to decide if they want to stay together. But I thought he looked like a really like I put very, 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 very Bobo bootleg Russell Todd.
Bobo bootleg. I don't even know what that is.
it means like kind of could look like him, but it was like someone like rubbed hot wax all over his face or something. I don't know. He like put his head at the end of the fire or something. Oh my God. I can't. Okay.
But so then we have Richie here being a rebel and he's exploring this house. But then I guess Max comes and stops him or something, and then him and Richie and Max, they're like having this argument or this tense discussion in front of what becomes basically King Arthur's sword in the stone with this axe and a tree stump, and it gets real phallic real quick as they're like stroking this axe thing. It was the weirdest like thing to me. I felt a little uneasy. I don't know. Maybe that was just me. Max creeped me out the whole movie. P.S. Mr. Feeney, he scared me.
Okay, I will say this, and I was gonna just go into it when I talked about the fun facts, but I did like this character, and it was originally they wanted Vincent Price as that character, and I do not think that would have worked at all. I think it just would have become this like silly, campy, but in a bad way. Like, he would just do his character he always does.
Right. The same thing, like always. And it would have been a little out of place, I think. I think it would have been out of place. But can you imagine him, walking up then? Because I guess, these counselors, it's because it is their last night, right?
Why will he help them with anything, by the way? He's like, I'm going into town, bye. Like,
yeah, he walks up to them and he goes, ahem, 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 ahem.
Oh, and no, he says also, hey, those beers that you have hidden that you shouldn't have, save me one. Well, what the fuck are you doing going in? What do you need in town? Why can't you help this? Like, I guess they don't know the kid's missing yet, but.
And then right before that, he's like, I like to keep my staff happy. And then it's like, within reason. I'm like, excuse me, I'm quitting that job ASAP. Going to Glassdoor did not tell me that my boss was this callous. Bye. I guess Glassdoor didn't exist clearly in the 80s, but.
Well, it did for women, but
God.
I mean, I think of it as more of like a Wall Street position, but
no, I mean
not at a camp. No, I know you.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Sorry, I like totally went to just like American Psycho, but so I did make some notes on this, and I keep on writing like different times that the movie is poorly paced. So the first time I wrote, movie's pretty poorly paced. 13 minutes into movie. Let's see if that changes.
Well, About 2 minutes later, the pace
Dippy.
changes.
Dippy.
Oh, I forgot about Dippy.
Dippy gives no fucks at
Dippy
all
gives
about
no
anything.
fucks.
And
Like,
he it was a cool death.
is he the caretaker or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. He was just a Dippy, I guess. I mean, yeah, a caretaker would be named Dippy. So that makes sense. But
I mean, wait, yeah.
yeah, he's the first one to die. But he's like, his death is pretty cool. But like, who cares? He gives like not one shit about anything.
I mean, he just walks in that house and the guy's like, "Ah!" And like, he like charges him and like swings this axe at him, and Dippy's just like, eh. I mean, when this werewolf in a fucking plaid shirt and overalls comes charging at him with a horrible.
Yeah, and he's
wig.
like, he's already like drunk, so he's just like, whatever. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
He's like, it's the last day of camp.
Yeah, I don't give one shit. So,
And
I guess, and then right after that, I wrote, Richie does not know what he's doing. But this is also at the point that I thought he was an adult. So,
well, that would make a lot of sense. Then he shouldn't know.
so then like, I think the next big thing that kind of happens is the hot tub scene.
100%. The softcore porn meets the 70s soft rock.
Oh my God. It is the slowest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so long. Lol at TP's belt buckle because it says TP on it. And why is his name TP? I guess his name is Tyler. I'm gonna say his name is Tyler Perry.
No, I don't know. Tyler.
Tyler Perry's first movie was.
What if it's his name? We're gonna make up his name. It's gonna be.
I'm dying.
No, I don't think his name's gonna be Tyler. I think it's gonna be
Taylor. No, hold on. Old name. Tom.
I was gonna say Timothy.
Okay, Timothy Payne.
No, how about Timothy?
Patrick.
Timothy Pulaski.
What?
Timothy Pulaski.
Okay, well, he doesn't have any of the skills to make a movie that Roman Polanski does, but
no, Pulaski, not Polanski.
Oh, I thought you said I don't
Pulaski.
know. Oh, Pulaski, like Pulaski, Tennessee.
I guess.
I listen.
Or the doctor in Star Trek Next Gen. I think she comes on as after Crusher. It's Pulaski.
Well, Pulaski's one of the worst places in the world, so it makes sense.
For him, all they do is turn circles around and around as they're like rotating in this hot tub. Like, it's not sexy. After they spent 3 hours taking off their clothes. But I needed a Dramamine. I say this a lot in some of these movies. I needed motion sickness medicine.
It's like that scene. It reminded me a lot of that, even though this the movie I'm about to say is a very different movie and one like 1,000 times better in my opinion. But there's that scene in Bully from 2001 with Brad Renfro where they're going to meet up with the hitman who's played by the same guy that was in Kids. And there's like that scene where ODB's playing, the music's playing, and it's like circling the kids like over and over. It's like it's supposed to like make you feel sick, but it reminded me of that.
I mean, I felt like I was on the teacups at Disney or like a Tilt-A-Whirl or like Gravitron.
You know, I can't even go into the carnival area at Dollywood, or I can't look at those rides or I'll get. So that's how motion sickness I get.
Yeah,
like
they just did this in a hot tub.
I straight up can't walk into the carnival area anymore.
Yeah.
Like, can't do it. Can't even watch the swings going around.
So I was trying to distract myself watching this. So to do that, because I kept looking down and like holding my fingers to my forehead to like not be dizzy. So then to get past it, I had there's like this song, and there's some like it's like some Seals and Croft wannabe song playing, and I just had this vision of Max. He never went to the bar. He's sitting there in the corner with the banjo singing this song to them as they just do twists and turns, and then like it would like pan over to him, and he'd like wink at them and nod his head and put his little guitar down and walk out of the room.
And TP is the one that sings the song at the beginning, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I think that he had I think he had to sing that on the fly, which, you know, it's not a good song, but like to tell someone you're gonna have to make up the song real quick and like sing it right now. I mean, it's not terrible for that.
I mean, yeah, we make up songs to our animals all the time, so we're good.
Yeah, I mean, good dog, good dog. So I had said the movie had stopped dragging until the cringy hot tub scene. So what's this weird lay? Then it cuts to 4 of them. It's not Betsy or TP. It cuts to the 4 of the other counselors, and they're all like laying in some kind of like fucking like late high school, early college sorority pose where they're like head to head, but like in different directions.
It's like the cover of the Friends album soundtrack or something where they're all.
Yeah.
God.
What's this weird laying next to each other with their four heads next to each other?
Or like the cover of a One Tree Hill poster.
And then one of them is Dave, and he is, in my opinion, for a quick second, he like is kind of a red herring because he starts getting real creepy for no reason. And he's like, I don't know, he just starts talking like a psycho. And at this point, had they figured out when did we find out Richie was missing? Because I can't remember.
I thought they already knew at this point.
Well, how's no one doing anything? Because TP is the first one that goes looking. So I guess it's like.
But then they must find out soon after this. Yeah. They find out then because they get their clothes back on, and then there's this scene. So then the next.
And then I just wrote, "What is up with Fugly Ellie? Is she like real dumb on drugs or both?"
God, right. Well, and right before we get to this cabin with this reenactment of a sorority or a Slumber Party Massacre movie cover, Stacy is like,
I did that picture in senior year of high school.
I know you did.
I mean,
I know you did. I wasn't saying anything.
It's cringy then. It's cringy all the time. Like, what is that? Like what director was like, do this? It'll look cool. Idiot.
But when Stacy gets to that cabin, right before that, she was like struggling to walk through the woods. And like, there's like this hill. It's like 4 feet tall, and she's like, she's like trying to get up it, and she's like, she doesn't realize it, but she's like 1 second away from being grabbed by Madman Mars. But then she turns around and gives a raspberry to Mother Nature. I'm like, I'm sorry, you walked up a hill.
God, it's so dumb.
She goes,
and like, it's surprising also knowing, like, because we all know Dawn of the Dead's my favorite movie, and I don't know if I could know anything more about it, honestly. But, when Galen Ross was in that movie, she told George Romero that there's a scene when they have when they're at the filling station, and she and Steven go off, and there's a zombie, and she just stands there for a while, but she was supposed to like be screaming. And she told George Romero she didn't want to scream because that would make her look like, a weak woman. However, she just ended up standing there and doing nothing. So I don't really know like what would have been better. But why didn't she bring that kind of like empowerment to? I mean, she brings it at the end, but like in this part, like in the hot tub and all this, it's just like where did that girl go? That wouldn't do these like, she stays strong throughout the whole movie kind of thing.
Right.
Because she really kind of, I think she is very much a strong female character in this movie. But early on, she's just mostly like, I don't know if I want to date him when we go back to the city. I mean, like, no one cares. This isn't like the hills. This isn't Real Housewives of New York. No one cares. Like, I do care about the Real Housewives of New York. I don't care if she's going back and going to date toilet paper.
Timothy
I'm sorry.
Pulaski.
I just had to change his name to toilet paper. But
Timothy Pulaski. But this is the Real Housewives of Summer Camp.
It is. And we really see. So the next thing I wrote was, oh, God, every scene Ellie is in makes me want to die.
I just hate her.
And then after that, I said, okay, so I just realized Richie was a kid, not a counselor. Lol, at 50 minutes into a movie that is an hour and a half long. So, yeah, Ellie is she's with Dave, right?
Maybe.
No. She's not with Dave. She's with the guy with the mustache.
Right, Stacy.
Billy.
Yeah, I think Stacy was with Dave, right?
I don't think she was with anybody. She was like, who cares?
Yeah, pass.
So Ellie and Billy have this I don't know if they were trying to make this into a rom-dram horror movie. Who gives a shit about your relationship? Acting like they were going to get married. And by the way, her face looks like someone crushed in her, her face is sunken in, and she has high cheekbones, but it's fucked up. I cannot deal with her.
Well, she was born that way. So we'll get in her
Oh
acting
my
later on.
God.
That
Oh, her acting is worse than her face, which is not, I mean, low bar.
you're terrible. You're awful.
So so after that happens, and we have to see that for a while. So I said back to Stacy, yawn. Get to the death, please. But at 54 minutes, when I guess she finds, I guess, Dave's headless body was pretty cool. So that's 54 minutes in.
Wait, did we skip TP's death then?
I guess I did.
Yeah,
Oops.
he was the first one to die.
He does die. He does die first. He does.
So
Yeah.
and I forgot that. I had forgotten.
He is. Oh, his death is actually cool. He's hanged with a noose until his neck snapped. And I don't know where my.
No, but I had forgotten that they had said, that Madman Martz has.
I had notes on the back of my paper.
But they had said Madman Martz has the smell of death when he's approaching. But then and I forgot that. But on screen, it shows TP. Like I was like, did he just fart? Is he about to sneeze? Like, and then I was like, oh, because then boom, Madman's Martz throws a giant noose over his neck.
Well, then I'll just throw in this fun fact. Apparently, like the guy that played TP, kept on choking himself with rubber bands or something. He would for real choke himself. Yeah, with a rubber band around his neck for the hanging scene. The director worried at times for him because he was because he wanted to make it look really realistic, and he did. He does unfortunately, and I'm not going to go too far into this, but I've gone very deep into a rabbit hole on Reddit before, and I've seen a video of someone hanging themselves for real, and it looked like that.
Well, but kudos to him when he is. Hey, he some people just writhe around, but he grabbed the branch and pulls himself up. But then his TP belt buckle ended up being the death of him as Madman comes up next to him, grabs the belt buckle, and rips him down and snaps his neck.
So
brutal.
I said, but I did say, why Madman Martz smell like death though? Why? I'm just.
Is he a zombie? I don't know. Is he a werewolf? Is he a zombie?
I mean, I guess because he's homeless. I mean, he could just go.
Didn't they? Madman Martz is dead. They killed him, or they hit him with an axe or something, in the story. No, in the story.
Well, I guess, yeah, but in my mind, I thought he just killed his family and ran away.
He didn't run away. Somebody hit him in the face with an axe in that story, and then maybe he ran away. But that's why he looks deformed.
Oh, I guess that's why he's deformed. But why he smell like death? I guess because he's not taking a bath or something.
Well, he clearly doesn't have a job with no income and no electricity.
And he looks I mean, he's Jason. Okay, let's be real. This is basically Jason Voorhees, but okay.
It's Jason Voorhees with
Bobo Jason Voorhees.
I can't even get past this wig.
Bootleg Bobo Jason Voorhees.
And he's got this wispy goatee thing, and I just he's like an overweight crypt keeper. He looks like the crypt keeper, but not.
That just made me think of when in the Real Housewives of New York, since we talked about it. There's one time that Ramona goes up to talk to Bethany about something, and it cuts to Bethany interviewed Ben. She goes, well, someone from Tales from the Crypt just came up to me.
Well,
so, yeah, basically, he's Ramona on the runway in that one episode.
I mean, even if you look at the cover of this box, his hair is not even like that, but it looks like the silhouette of Medusa. It's just you can't, and not the Anchor Bay re-release, or maybe the Anchor Bay. One of these.
That's the one I have. That's the one I have.
The one with the silhouette that looks like Harold in the trees.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the other one, it's just it's a different. It's a very bad cover, but it looks
I know what you're talking about.
Like Medusa in whatever. But
so after. Yeah, so sorry that I skipped ahead so far. I'm sorry.
We got to go back now. Dave's going looking.
Yeah, Dave. But before Dave goes looking, there's this whole scene that sets up this scene where I guess it's TP and Max are trying to get there's an axe in this piece of wood that they're
the sword and the stone.
Yeah, it's sword and stone kind of thing. Earlier, and now Max is Madman Mars. I go, ooh, get that axe, because he easily gets that out. And also, I'm sorry, but no one could dig a freaking axe. I mean, maybe I couldn't get it out, but no guy there could, or girl. But I mean, strength. No one could get that axe out by. I mean, whatever. This isn't Sword in the Stone.
And you know that tree stump is probably like all rotted. There's just no way.
No,
And then,
there's no way that would ever happen. That
and then
it would that no one could get
No
it out.
one.
It's been like two people. Bye.
and then he
And
just,
like stop trying to be a Disney movie all of a sudden.
I know, and he basically like pops an aneurysm, grunting, and when pulls this fucking thing out, and yeah, you're the king now. You're King Mars.
Good job. Good job. What like Bobo, Jason Voorhees,
Candyman Harold Voorhees.
Candyman Harold Voorhees. So the pacing slows down again at the Dave, quote unquote. I quoted chase because it was very loosely.
It was a
chase.
tiptoe through the damn tulips.
It was Tiny Tim tiptoeing through the damn tulips chase scene. And I even said I use the term chase loosely. At 40 minutes, even when he finds TP, it doesn't really add any excitement.
Well, I got scared when he turned around because you see the feet hanging, and so like you're like, oh, he's gonna run into it. And then what this movie does every now and then that does well for me is like right when it turned around, like I knew it was gonna like he was gonna go, whatever. But then the synthy music is just kind of just boing, boing, boing.
Yeah. I said basically like when I was taking notes, I basically said the
music
thing,
gets me the whole time. These effects.
Me too. But like that, they had to do that because I mean the pacing is so bad, so it's so poorly paced, and even so his death is kind of like whatever. But the music was good, and I hated him anyway, so like I didn't care.
Yeah,
but the point is the pace still. I mean, but the point is at this point the pace still didn't pick up for me. Right. It was like a cool, like for a second I thought it was going to, and then it was like, okay, never mind. They had like a synthy little stab, and then it was like done.
Right.
And then so that's when we cut back to Stacy, I guess, talking to Betsy, and she's like I mean I think she's trying to come off as a strong woman, but she also just comes off as kind of like bitchy to me. I mean, like, I don't need you to be like a cunt all the time. I don't know. Like, it's just like they couldn't find a middle ground with her character. It was like she just like straight up like a bitch, and I don't like that. Doesn't make you a strong woman. That makes you a bitch. Like,
well, but she knows what to look for under the hood of a car.
Her own head.
Well, but like, did I miss a class growing up? Like, I know that I'm gay, but like, why are all these people opening car hoods? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I don't even know if an engine would be missing. Like,
no, me neither. And I've seen no, we totally missed. It was called like dads teaching it or something, and neither of our dads taught us it. Or I guess my dad taught me AAA. So it was like, I mean, I'm always like shocked when people can open my, like I'll like pop it, but apparently like my hood, cause it's like, it sounded really sexual, but not my vaginal hood or my clitoral hood, my Honda Civic 2016 hood. It's like really hard even for people to like know. It's like it takes whatever. I
can't even find the button on my Accord. It's open.
I went to Valvoline the other day and was in a total hell, and this guy tried to tell me a story about new hoods and BMWs that I gave a shit about. So anyway,
I'm like, I don't know any of this. I can barely.
Apparently now it takes like two people to open up some of these like hoods. So if you're like stuck and you're by yourself, like you can't even open the hood.
Oh my god.
So anyway, whatever. So and then I just wrote, "Ew, Ellie." And then picking back up maybe around 55 minutes.
Oh, well, right before Ellie, though, Stacy's death, you alluded to it, but...
Well, no, I was just saying, ew, Ellie. I think she, like, had a mid-transition scene. And every time she was on the screen, it made me want to die. So, like... So, Stacy... I mean, I guess they all know this kid's, they're all... No one... I don't know why they didn't get together and make an actual plan to find this kid, because it seems like if it was that big of a fucking deal, like you would like talk to each other about it, which they kind of do, but like no plans made. Everyone's just like walking out into fucking nowhere.
Well, where's the other little girl that looks like from the Village of the Damned at the beginning? Like, where are the other two kids that are at camp?
I think later on you see one of them because, well, you see him at the very end because I can't stop calling her Francine. Betsy tells them to get into the bus.
Oh, you're right. That's
right. I think they were like asleep or something.
Oh, okay.
And they got scared by the story or whatever. So Stacy, this is a long scene. I mean, her death takes so long to get to.
And her death is over in about 1.5 seconds.
It is, and it takes about 20 minutes to get there.
Like, how long do we have to see her bent over into the hood of this car?
Like, yeah, I know. It was like, so she, like, at 54 minutes, this is what I said earlier, she finds Dave's headless body. So that was cool. And then there is an actual chase scene, kind of, with Stacy. I don't know, like, I don't care. The car not working trope, you know.
Like, go figure. Did you see that car? Obviously, it ain't working.
I mean, I was bored with this very early on. Like, just kill her. She's clearly gonna die. It took like 10 minutes for him to finally kill her. Like, for real, 10 minutes. I counted it.
Yeah.
Because I was like looking at the timer on the, like, for just see how poorly paced it was. It took 10 minutes for him to kill her, but it's a long time.
And he does it by jumping on top of the hood and crushing her head off. But at the end of the day, too, that hood was kind of slanted. Like, if I jumped on that, I would slide right off. There ain't no way that I would jump on that at an angle and, like, not fall the hell over, let alone cut someone's head off.
I mean,
but he's a werewolf, so Jesus H. Christ.
I get Harold
Voorhees.
Mars, whatever his name is, like Bobo Jason Voorhees.
I can't wait for it to be Mr. Feeney in a mask. I ain't gonna lie.
That guy did look like Mr. Feeney, though.
They did. They had the same hair color too.
I mean, except for his was a little wild, like Madman Mars.
And at the end of the day, too, like, and this is, I know you didn't watch.
Maybe this show. Maybe they were like, oh no, why are you saying I didn't like it?
No, I'm gonna say I know you didn't watch this TV show growing up, but
Boy Meets World.
No, I was not.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
No, let me. But
yes.
But there is a character. His name is Goldar, and basically, if you took Man Mars and threw a gold winged armor on him, like, this is what I mean. That's who I thought of the whole movie. He's from Power Rangers, and it's the dumbest. It's the dumbest thing ever. But like,
yeah, so I didn't watch that. You're right.
Some people probably did as well, and but yeah, take him out of his overalls and throw gold wings on him. He's helping Rita.
Like, okay, I got. Like, I just went on and on about how I don't care about Billy and Ellie. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Whenever she's like, anybody, I'm like, oh my God, I hate you, Ellie. You're whining, maybe when we run into the woods near me, scream Madman Mars's name and just run face first into his claws and axe.
I don't know what I even was talking about, honestly. When I say an hour and 2 minutes into the movie, Billy finally gets it. Like, what the fuck happened to him? I don't even know what I'm talking about, honestly. Oh God, Ellie again finally dies after a long and tedious chase scene at 1 hour and 13 minutes.
And
why the fuck did she live so long?
But she's just walking around. Anybody? I'm just like, oh Lord. I'm like, please say his name so that he'll come and get you.
But I did think it was funny that Betsy ends up accidentally shooting Ellie. So that's where. What happens to Billy though?
I don't even. Billy has his neck broken.
Oh, neck broken, right? Okay, so Ellie gets hacked with the axe, and then we have this. Okay, Betsy becomes a strong character. She's like, she tells the kid, the 4 kids or whatever, go get in the bus, and she's like, I'm gonna go after this guy, and she's like, I wouldn't have. Why did like what I don't understand is like I get this one kid's missing, but like drive away and go get help.
Well, no, right before she does all this, she calls Max at the bar or whatever, and I'm like, did I miss something? Why is she calling Max at the bar and like not the police?
Yeah,
she's like, there's blood everywhere, and my response
right,
like,
yeah, right, yeah.
Like in what context? Like, did someone's always leak, or like she just says there's blood everywhere? Come help! Like, what does that mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know why she couldn't say people are being. I think someone's been murdered, or like anything like that.
And P.S. I'm calling you, not the police. So hey, help.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, I mean, yes, I get that the whole like vibe was to get this like strong female character like going after this guy, but like it doesn't really work for me because it makes no sense because why would you do that alone? Like, you're not.
Well, yeah, I got you.
Whatever.
I
I
got you.
mean,
But then when she's driving that bus or that car or whatever, and when Madman Mars runs right in front of the car and like stops like Bigfoot, I
oh
lost it. I
yeah,
was screaming. He's like, like,
yeah, I
and
died.
I was screaming. I was laughing so hard. His face, it was like, oh my god, he just looks ridiculous in general. But this was awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was bad costuming or makeup or whatever. But so she goes back and she's gonna try to kill him, and she ends up being impaled on a hook, and then the his farmhouse catches fire. So
Yeah, and when she walks
he's
into the
presumed to be
house,
dead into that, and also him.
when she walks into the house with the shotgun and everything, like I was like, this is a tad too long. Again, chase scene where she's like
Very long, tedious
creeping
as
around
fuck.
room to
Yeah.
room, and you see him in the background, but then she fires her gun. But I want you to rewatch it. She fires her gun, and I swear it looks like she just took 7 shots of tequila and got off the merry-go-round at the same time. She's like, oh, when she like, I guess it's the kickback or whatever from the shotgun.
Yeah.
But rewatch her, and it's I need to find a still shot of that. She looks like she like has been I don't even drunk off the tilt-a-whirl. She starts spinning around. It's
yeah,
hilarious.
so basically she's killed and burned in the fire, and we presume that Madman Mars was also killed in the fire, and then the movie ends with Max pulling up to Richie, who's in the middle of the road, which I'm going to talk about a fun fact with that when we talk about fun facts. I'm not going to tell her right now.
We're almost there, yeah.
Yeah, but and Richie's in the road, and he's just like, Madman Mars, he's real, and then it just ends.
I mean, final boy, but like final boy.
Not really though. I mean, like, there's not that this movie's like I hadn't really thought about it till now, but like, there's really not a final anybody.
Well, kind of Richie.
I mean, kind of him, but like, he's not shown enough in the movie really to be like set up to be. When you talk about the stereotypical final person, it's not.
But they talking and looking for him the whole damn movie. He's not maybe on screen, but he's the focal point the whole time.
True. But like, it's just not. It's not when you talk about final whatever. It's just not. It doesn't look the same, I guess.
It's not the same, but they tried.
So okay, let's go.
They tried, but they tried better with that than they did Madman's wig.
Facts. So I mean, anything's better than that. Like, whatever. So let's just list the kills real quick.
Okay, so you start off with Madman Mars's family, his wife, son, and daughter.
His wife, son, and daughter chopped with axes. Then we got Dippy. You know what? He might be my favorite character in the movie. He gave no shit.
He gave 0.
And his throat slashed. Then we got TP, toilet paper / Tyler Perry / Timothy Pulaski, hanged with a noose until his neck snapped. And I really actually thought that like was realistic and
oh, definitely, definitely realistic.
Yeah. Dave is next. He's a piece of shit, by the way. Decapitated with an axe. Then we have Stacy with she was decapitated by a car hood when Madman Marks jumped on it, which is hilarious whenever he jumps. But okay. Bill gets his neck snapped. Slapped it.
Woo!
Oh, Ellie. Oh God. The bane of maybe like the worst character that I've ever seen in my life, and person, probably in real life. Sorry, whoever you are. Hacked in the chest with an axe.
Heck yeah.
Then we got Betsy Galen Ross / Franny from Dawn of the Dead, impaled on a hook, then burned to death in the fire. And then we presume that Madman Marks is possibly burned to death. We don't. Probably not. They're probably wanting to make. Well, I actually know they were going to try to make a sequel.
They were going to do a sequel. So, yeah, with Richie.
Yeah. So we'll go in. Do you want to go into the fun facts now?
Let's do some fun facts.
Okay. So the guy that played Madman Mars, and I don't know how to say his name, it's like Paul Ehlers, I think. His son was born during filming, and he went to the hospital in full makeup to hold him for the first time. So can you imagine with that wig and everything, seeing that in a hospital to hold a baby?
That's awful. That's horrible.
That's and apparently his shoes were so slippery, he almost fell out of the tree at times. Like, I don't really, why? I don't care. Okay. What was he wearing? Like, dish. I know those would have gripped.
Yeah, they weren't wearing. He wasn't wearing grippy.
They put him in ballet flats or something. I don't know. Uh, so the leaf. Okay, this kind of confused. The leaf had to be painted green because it was supposed to be the end of summer, and they filmed in the winter. But wouldn't I felt like it was supposed like when I watched the movie, I felt like it was presumably fall.
So that's a little bit of a mix. They do talk about it being like around Thanksgiving at times, but then they also they also call it a summer camp. So I don't know because first of all, who the hell goes to summer or fall camp? Like,
that's why I was like, is this Friday the 13th part 5?
Right. So it was kind of interesting. Like it seemed
like a halfway house counseling place for like troubled children to me.
Well, and I've also read
it was like an orphan camp or something.
I've also read that this was a camp for gifted children.
Oh, well, I mean, that would have been nice for them to have said at some point in the movie instead of us just trying to assume why are these kids here for so long?
These 4 kids.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what? And also, if they're like something's wrong with them, way to tell a story like that to them. I mean, like, good job,
Right.
Mac. So, sorry. It was originally based on Cropsey, but which is like a tall tale. It's not a tall tale. It's not like Johnny Appleseed
or Rip Van Winkle.
No, it's like it's an urban legend. It's an
Yeah.
urban legend that was a guy in New York that was part of like Willowbrook, but which is a mental institution, when it like a real mental institution, when it closed, he like apparently lived in like the tunnels underneath and stuff like that. But then
another movie coming out, right?
What?
We had another movie that just came out, or was coming out.
Well, they found out that the burning was actually like his name is Cropsey in that movie. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so they found out about that, and they were, and also, you know, I guess it's so sad that the burning is a Weinstein production, but they had more money, so they had to discard their idea, and yeah. So
that explains some of the inconsistencies, I think, and the problems with the plot and pacing is because
it definitely does, especially with like the deformities.
They did redo him at the last minute, do some reshoots and rewrites. So like I get it, but also Candyman Harold Voorhees by.
Yeah, I mean, like the burning is very loosely based on Cropsey. If you actually like read the whole, or there's actually a documentary about Cropsey that's very interesting, and there's nothing about him being like burned or anything like that. So it was like loosely based on that, but he was burned in the burning, obviously. So that would make more sense that they were trying to do a Cropsey thing, I guess. But that's weird they were trying to do the same thing, because Cropsey was never supposed to be like supposedly a burn victim, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Anyway, whatever. So it was originally surprisingly passed uncut in the UK, but was seized during the video nasty craze and finally released in 2002. And I always think it's so crazy. If you were living in the UK, like you wouldn't have access to all these movies during the video nasty craze.
Yeah.
Like there's so many movies that like a lot of people didn't see until the 2000s. Like people didn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre until the 2000s. Like that's like insane to me.
Well, and then I have friends in the UK, and like they don't see some of these movies until they go on Shudder, and I'm like, you know, because Shudder will put a lot of old movies in. They're like, oh, a new movie on Shudder, but like it's from the 80s, and like first time watching, and I'm like, wow, because one, they didn't know it was there to ever watch, and then two,
right.
It's
essentially like the
and how are they gonna find it even, like, is it streaming?
There are two guys on the Hysteria Continues. One's from England and the other's from Ireland. So they had to deal with, and they were alive during the video nasty craze. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting listening to like when they got to watch stuff, and if it did pass it. Even if it did pass through like the censorship, it would come out usually about a year after the movie came out, and they would read it, but they would read about it in Fangoria, usually because they would do a lot of stories about slasher movies and stuff like that. So they would just like read about this and just wait and wait and wait. And so I think a lot of times maybe some stuff was built up for them in a good way, maybe sometimes in a bad way. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But I always think that's really interesting, like especially in today's times where you can literally watch anything at like the push of a button.
Yeah.
And I remember, back in the day when my dad was having Trent Dawn of the Dead every 3 days until like they finally started selling VHS at like Camelot in the mall or something, and they weren't really selling a lot of VHS until that point. And I remember like that was the first one I got, I think, except for if you like got something at Big Lots that was like what was the Good Times? The movie like Night of the Living Dead was one of those like where it didn't have like copyright issues.
I don't know the struggles you all had with VHSs. I had them my whole life because my dad's video store. So
True facts. I mean, like when I was younger, either they were Good Times. It was like a production company called Good Times where they would put out stuff that was the copyright had run out or like something was messed up with the copyright, so they had the rights to put out like because Night of the Living Dead messed up their copyright stuff forever, and
exactly.
So that you could always get that movie.
Always.
But and then like I remember having some like Three Stooges videos and Little Rascals and maybe like a W.C. Fields video, and then besides that it was all stuff we had taped off TV. Was most of the VHSs that I had were movies that we had taped off TV, so I didn't get to see them full on. I remember like I watched Animal House all the time, but I didn't know half the jokes till like 10 years later when I got a real copy of it.
Right.
But okay, so back to the fun facts. Sorry. This movie was originally, and I think this is a pretty cool thing. So the movie originally was set up to have a sequel with Richie being blamed after Max finds him traumatized on the side of the road.
I want it. I still want it. Give it to us.
I'd like it now. I think, you know what? I think it would work now. I think that I'd like to see a low budgety looking Madman. If this movie came out today, I would probably like it a lot more just because it was just like, this is actually like for today. Because I mean, the shit that I've seen like that's come out recently, some of it's so bad.
Give me a sequel. Give me it.
Yeah, so I mean, it would make sense too.
Yeah.
We already talked about how Tom Fish, who played toilet paper / Tyler Perry / what's his name? Timothy Pulaski, that he would for real choke himself.
Yeah.
Galen Ross changed her name to Alexis Dubin for the movie, probably because the film was non-union, but I think also I think it's pretty well known that I think she was pretty embarrassed by this movie later on. But I think originally she changed her name on it because it was a non-union movie and she was in SAG.
Yeah, well, she's also a little bit Alexis.
Oh my gosh.
La 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 la. A little bit Alexis.
Well, and also like I think she's very I don't know why, but I always get the feeling she's very embarrassed by this movie, especially because she became a filmmaker in her own right, like for documentaries and stuff later on in her life that were actually that are actually critically acclaimed. And so she's kind of like, well, this movie is here and a lot of people have seen it, but like I wish I wasn't in it.
It's got decent reviews.
I mean, it does, but like I can see where you're like
she's probably embarrassed at that goddamn hot tub scene. Bye.
I would be, honestly.
I mean,
Bobo with the very, 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 very times infinity Bobo bootleg version of Russell Todd. God, Russell should really listen to this more because we talk about him basically every episode.
You talk about him every.
I love him. Okay,
that's cool.
Like I want him to leave his wife and date me. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. You're
me homewrecking.
You're Annie Wilkes over here, y'all.
I am Annie. I am. I'm a homer. For him, I would be a homewrecker, and I don't respect people like that.
Okay, well, for legal reasons only, I am not involved in this scheme.
Oh. How far could I really go besides emailing him? I mean, like, okay, like I'm not gonna try to find him. I'm too lazy to be a homewrecker, to be honest. So,
well, hey,
like I don't
You got ethics.
yeah, I mean, like, okay, yeah, I'm done. Like, cool.
Cool.
Like, I don't even care. Although he did have some people that he was an agent of work on Stranger Things. Anyway, okay, Russell Todd done.
So what would you are we ready to rate this?
Well, okay, I think it's this is one more fun fact. We already talked about being in limbo, but the filming of the movie was suspended. So, okay, it was filmed in the 80s.
Thanks.
It
Did we
was
know?
filmed at they started filming at the beginning of November in 1980, and they had to they well they didn't have to, but they stopped filming for one day. What?
Nothing. Nothing.
Well, okay,
I
they
thought,
stopped.
was there a reason? Like, did we surmise that it was filmed in the 70s?
No, I thought that we didn't know if it was late 80s or early 81.
But you said, okay, it was filmed in the 80s. And I was just like, thanks.
No, I meant 80. 1980. Because at first I was thinking, well, it was either filmed it because it didn't distribute till 82. So I thought either it was filmed in late 80
Right.
or early 81. But it did start filming in November of 80. And then they stopped filming for only one day. And it was December 8th, 1980. And do you know what that date, why they would have stopped filming? Do you know what that date means? December 8th, 1980.
In 1980?
A very famous assassination or murder.
Oh, imagine all the people.
Yeah, John Lennon. So they stopped filming for one day because of the murder of John Lennon. And that happened in another movie that I was reading about recently. Terror on Tour. They actually had like a real band in that movie, and they were filming on that date, cool. And they had to like shut down film. Like a lot of things. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Not bizarre in a bad way. It's interesting that like so many things would shut down because of the death of a musician. Because I don't think that would really happen now. All right, so moving on.
Time to rate.
Yeah, why don't you go first?
I would give this a 2.75 out of 5.
Ow.
I enjoy it. It's entertaining. It's not like horrible. I have fun with it. I watch it once or twice a year since high school.
I could not do that. And I maybe should start doing 2 ratings, one on rewatchability, like with rewatchability involved in it, and the other not, like critically.
No, we're not critics. Bye. Just do it all in one.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Lie. Robert Ebert. Well, Siskel. Which one is alive still?
Aren't they both dead?
I think. Whatever. They're jealous of me in their graves.
I don't even know who they. I don't know.
You don't know who they are.
I'm like Mariah Carey. I don't know her.
I only know men on films from In Living Color.
3 snaps, y'all. 2.75 snaps and around the back, y'all.
I've been going back and watching old In Living Color episodes. I have them like DVR recorded.
God, I love them so much.
Oh, they're so good. That whole show is actually way funnier than SNL. I said it. Yes.
No, I love it. I think it's a great show. But anyway,
okay. Oh God, 1.75.
Hey.
I don't want to. It's crazy because it has such a strong opening. That's what's really crazy to me is with the opening, you feel like you're really in for like a fun ride, and
until you see Mr. Feeney.
Who could have been Vincent Price, but thank God it wasn't Vincent Price, because I would have been. I don't know what that would have been.
Oh my God.
So.
Well, I think though I'm gonna stay gagged on Candyman Harold Voorhees first and foremost.
His wig,
his overalls, everything about him. His claws. I mean, his claws are treacherous.
I'm gonna stay gagged on TP's belt buckle.
Oh, the belt buckle, yes.
And also the noose, and also like I would rather choke myself and gag myself to death and look at Ellie again.
You're terrible. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, sorry, girl. Like, whatever, bitch. You were a bad actress, and I can't stand you.
Oh my God. Well, at the end of the day, I'm going to stay gagged on future submissions for the approval of the Gag Me with a Knife podcast.
The tale of Madman Mars. See you guys.
Bye.
He's real.
Lore of the campfire, telling of his horror, lost in the woods with the madman and the stars. Don't laugh at the tales, heed if you call him the